Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening, whatever the hour may be. It is Ben here from Second Dynasty, streaming live from sunny Vänersborg, Sweden. When I say sunny, I mean like, it wasn't sunny 10 seconds ago, and it's fading. So, yeah, not permanent. We are getting silly because it is Friday. Oh, it looks like I am peaking a little bit. Maybe I'll drop down my audio just a tad so I'm not shouting at you. How's everyone doing today? Let's see. Let's check out the chat. Who we got here? We got Doug. We got Tamsin. We got Hazard Rat. We've got Clive. We've got Solo Spirit. We've got Jaron. We've got Sam. Brendan is here. Will Richards is here. John, of course, is here. Albin is having the day off. Woohoo! Yesterday it was actually Flying Jesus Day here. Ascension Day in most of the world, but the direct translation from Swedish is sounds a lot funnier. I guess technically it's Jesus' heavenly journey, but people say Flying Jesus Day. Anyway, who else we got? Shergul is here. Jimmy is here. Welcome. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. What is this mechanical gizmo in front of you? We're going to be looking at a number of different things today. This particular scene, which I guess I won't stick too much in at the moment, is actually Persephone. Yes, we are still working on it, or rather I am. I guess no one else is working on it. And this particular solution I'm working on is to fix an issue with this funny little device. And I'll show you what it is in just a second if I can figure out how to switch to my close-up camera. So this is the sponge end of an atomizer. Just something I got off like Temu, or maybe it was AliExpress, whatever. You can get them through some sort of Lego component stores, but there's an electric atomizer that will generate something analogous to an RCS thruster for us. And our ship has quite a few of those. So let me switch back here. You can see where the pipes are going, and I had it in front of me before, but I'm blanking on it now. I just realized that this part that I'm working on, yeah, doesn't fit through the hole. I should have really looked into that a bit more. I'm off by about, it's not more than like 0.5 millimeter. Rather frustrating. We're going to be looking at a few more physical models though. Maybe we can look at this a bit up close in a bit. John has been fiddling around with the cameras today and pushing me to really sell the tribe this episode. He's nodding. He's probably going to do his regular thing where he, for some reason, only ever shuts up during the stream. And you can see there is quite a bit of progress despite the size of the ship. I was planning by the end of the day to get this printed. I've started working on the rear landing gear instead, the actual mechanisms. Lots of work to do here, but the distractions have been very much in the shape of, let's save this scene, our Expendable campaign that we're working on. I still haven't received, I've signed the contracts, but I haven't received 100% verbal communication that it's okay to announce the partner that we're going to be working with on that one. But, when we do, you'll probably go, oh yeah, that makes sense. In any case, that particular adventure has a bunch of new cool models coming up and some lore. And yeah, I think maybe we should start talking about what is coming in June's tribe, since today is the 30th of May and June 1st is just on Sunday. So I'm going to switch. Is it a good time, John, or should I just show the graphics first?
Show the
graphics first.
I'm almost done.
Let's see, which one was that? Tribe screen is probably the one we're talking about. Yeah. So let's get to this. So the 3 tiers we've got listed here, and you can find the link to the tribes down below in case you're curious. But if you don't know what it is, it's a Patreon-like service where every month you sub for the price of buying us a coffee or a beer, and in return, not only do you get some awesome discount codes so you can pick up stuff on our store extra cheap, but you also get some other perks, such as new Gridforge tiles, a brand new vehicle every month, or items from our back catalogue. And recently we've started expanding even more since we've switched things up a little bit. John wanted to point out a lot, because he wants people from our old back catalogue tier to move over to Friends of Benjamin. So one thing to emphasize is that the Gridforge and extra models are not included with the back catalogue, whereas the back catalogue items are included with Friends of Benjamin. Annually it works out to be about the same, but I also get it. You can also mix and match tiers. So for example, you can just add Gridforge as its own thing. You can add the vehicles if you just prefer to have that. Really, it should probably just be called vehicle tier, because usually it's just one vehicle. In any case...
it's like the men's room. It's not... It's a possessive form.
Okay, it's the men's room. It's owned by all men. It's by mankind. Alright, sorry, I've got to stop being silly. So let's talk about the content for this month. So, down here... Hey, that's actually working. Down here we have what we're calling the communications relay. And it consists of a new Gridforge concrete platform, like a slab. It has a truss leading up to a communications dish, and it has its own generator. There is a more sophisticated version of this in conception, which we'll be revisiting in the next month. But we'll be getting into some of that a little bit later. There is actually some backstory to this, and that's what's coming soon. We've been teasing an adventure that we're working on, and it takes place on an alien mining colony. And I'm blanking on the word for it. What? That's not helping, John. Cocytus?
That sounds right.
Yes, Cocytus Station. So imagine a mining colony where the company has sent out a bunch of prospectors and, roughnecks to mine some kind of unobtainium. And during the course of the 20 years, they figured out a way to automate things. Planet's barren. It does have an atmosphere, fairly high pressure too. Just a case of not really being worth the financial resources to actually terraform. So you've been stuck on a base for the last, 19 years and 11 months, essentially. Filling out your contract, a massive life-changing bonus is about to occur as mining operations wrap up, and you're one of the last teams to actually leave. And in this last month of waiting for your ride to be ready to leave, you are called out to check one of the relay stations on this planet. So it's plagued by dust storms, and consequently an array of communications antennas are needed, spread out across several kilometers each in a grid, to make sure that there's constant and strong communication with the orbiting interstellar communications station above. And you guys are being sent out in this thing right below me, which is the Highlander ATV, or rather maybe a variation of that. So the Highlander is made by the same team that bought the Matador lifter, which is our sort of industrial scale forklift. This thing is more about transport. It does have a modular container on the back, although at the moment the only thing modular about it is that it's absent. I don't know, that's not very modular at all. There are 2 versions, and I'll get into that in a little bit. I'm buying some time for John.
I'm almost done.
His hands are shaking. Yeah, so this vehicle, it is wider than the Matador. It's in fact like about almost 2 inches wide on the inside. It has its own airlock, although the design has a few flaws. It's one of those times where I'd like to say we've deliberately made a vehicle not make 100% sense. I'd like to say that, but I think it might have just been one of us. But it has an airlock and it has a cabin. Only problem is, to use the airlock, you have to depressurize the cockpit, which does sound like a design flaw that, say, a Chinese knockoff company might have come up with when trying to replicate a otherwise popular Western vehicle. And that's kind of the theme of this colony. Bare minimum spent. You're literally probably paying a part of your paycheck for clean air. You've gone for years and years without very much in the way of entertainment or human interaction aside from with your colleagues. And right now, there's that light at the end of the tunnel. Only problem is you're being sent out to this place.
It's ready, sir. Let's switch cameras.
And yeah, okay, we're ready to switch cameras apparently. And we can talk about Friends of Benjamin and live instead.
Right, yeah.
So let's see, we want the movable camera. Here we go. Oh, look. There's a box. I think it's so funny you spend like 10 minutes cleaning this area to make it as if our office is actually nice and cleanly. And then you leave a box at the last minute. Alright, John, show us the relay. Look at that. And look, it works in real time. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, synced. Thank you, John, for that. So, this little thing is great. Prints rather easily, and I think it's a really cool design for $250. But we're trying to get more people to adopt GridForge. Speaking of which, we actually dropped the prices for tiles today, so that now it should be about $4.95 for each tile set. So if you get your tribes discount on top of that, you'd be down to almost a similar level as to what you can pick up this thing for right now. So that is our GridForge level for the tribes for June. Now let's talk about the vehicle again, and we'll show off Albin's Highlander ATV. Alright, so I think the lid on this one is actually a prototype, so it doesn't fit 100% flush with things. I love that the wheel came off the second you lifted that. It is 6-wheel drive. It has a nice sort of cab here for 2. This version doesn't actually have, for some reason, the headlights on it. It does have like this huge big thing that slots down. But if we take the roof off, you can see down below. Oh, thank you, John. To a generous interior. It is customizable if you have some of our parts, especially from Odyssey. They use the same sort of wall slots as we've used on many of our Traveller products. Let's move this a little bit backwards and maybe we can look at it from the side and the back. You can see it's also got a little tow bar on the back, which is compatible with several of the trailers we've had. Did that come off again? Oh, wonderful construction. Should definitely trust it. But you can see some of the design.
It's the reason I don't like these pegs. I keep telling you I don't like these. It's very poorly built.
We might have to do some modifications. The wheels are coming off it, John. The wheels are coming off it. They must be saying crazy things in the chat. No, it's just a prototype vehicle at the moment. So we do have a less prototyped version. So this base version, oh god, I'm not looking at the live version. That was my issue. I'm like, hey, where's the vehicle gone? You got it there, but it's not there. See, it does look cool when it's actually moving. Although we could have probably cut down on the number of mechanical parts there, but still. We're moving on. And Friends of Benjamin, and we've started doing this thing where we put out vehicle variants. We did that with the last Garu fighter where we put the missile launchers on it. Last month we also had one. What was last month's? I can't even remember what we did.
Longer. It was the little floating platform and a longer one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we did the cool little RCS platforms. Indeed. So there's a longer version of that. And now we have our alternative vehicle here. You can actually see that it has the huge big spotlight arm on it at the moment. They are compatible with other Matador parts, so if you wanted to put like construction stuff on instead, you could. Now note here what the ingenious roughnecks of Cocytus have actually done. So they've actually extended the chassis to create a fake airlock so that they can actually use this area to decompress in instead of the intended airlock there, and the cargo module can go on the back. So it would have a variety of options in reality. Here they've just made some modifications to make life a little bit easier. And I kind of love this storytelling approach to why we make modifications. And a part of this, honestly, just came out of, this wasn't a clever design. Okay, what can we do with this? Why is it this way? And I feel like we came up with a cool little in-universe laws explanation for it. So that is the vehicle variant coming with Friends of Benjamin, but there are a bunch of other parts too. Such as concrete, what do we call them? Barriers. So, yeah, just hold that up a little bit closer, John. So, let's see. I think the vehicles are making it harder to focus. You can kind of see the concrete texture we've had. I think we showed this off last week, actually. It's all coming back to me. So that's included as well. And you can really, make that scene look a bit more interesting. And then the other thing is the damaged version, which is just a dust pile of an accident there. I kind of imagined it to be a sort of what's the movie called? I was talking about it yesterday. Tremors. Thank you, John. A Tremor style thing where there's like some kind of creature sucking down the vehicle into like a sinkhole. So you have this sort of damaged scenery. It's actually very light. Printed, all one piece, doesn't require any supports, of course, because that's just what we do. And yeah, that's a bonus. So this month there's actually a ton of stuff in the Friends of Benjamin, and that is without the back catalogue items that are also included, right? So we've got the prison cell pack, we've got the bridge tiles, and we've got Sleipnir hull extenders on top of all of that.
And as a quick reminder, if you're in the back catalog tier, you will not be getting the barrier, the big piece of the decorative piece of the destroyed ATV, nor the modified custom one.
Well, actually, not even that.
Oh, you don't even get this, right?
Yeah, because that's on the Gridforge tier. Yeah.
Vehicle tier and the back catalog releases as we promised. So switch over, cancel your back catalog today, and switch over to Friends of Benjamin.
Good job, John. All right, what are people saying in the chat? What do you guys think of the Rovers? Hey, Overboard as well. Wheels always fall off my Matador too. Maybe it's a design flaw. Just saying. Yeah. Let's see. Should we say galna saker, tokiga saker, knäppa saker, konstiga saker, or vansinniga saker? I think tokigheter is more apt. Well, perhaps. Konstiga saker, I think is better. Which just means strange things. Kathy says hello. Hey, Kathy. Just back from UKGE. Very nice. How was the show? Indeed. Graboids. Show bigger than before and rammed. Rammed? Do you mean like jam-packed or something? Rovers do look cool. Looking good. Kathy says loads of interesting stuff, but generally more board game oriented. I had good chats with loads of manufacturers there. I can imagine. I can only imagine. Alrighty. So that's the physical stuff on offer for the tribe. let's talk about the rest of Expendable. So Expendable is a 3-part adventure and 3 months worth of Tribes releases, as well as a Frontier that we will be launching. I think mid-July is what we're aiming for. So this will include brand new sets, including... Oh, we didn't show off the terrain. We need to show off the terrain. Let's get back to the show and tell camera, John. So, talking about Expendable, this project, we have been working on exterior terrain as well as interior terrain. And here are some of the prototypes, because we do not have time to paint this up. So we are now experimenting with dual filaments. So these have been achieved just with 2 different colors. There are 3 different actual filaments in use in these examples, right? Yeah, so we've got like a chocolate brown, we've got a terracotta, and we've got, is it a sand color? So we're just testing, and you can get some really cool results. They look better from afar than close up, but I think they're a great compromise, especially because terrain is not one of those things that people, I think, enjoy painting up that much. So you can see we've just got these patterns here. John's really taking advantage of the layer shifts here, optimizing them. Why 2 colors? Why not more? Simply because there is a hell of a lot less waste. If you're just using 2 colors, you can go 2 layers at a time, 2 layers at a time. I think those are made with how many?
It depends. This one used a lot more color shifts because of the banding, so ignore the banding. This used approximately 3. This uses 3. This uses 2.
So, very minimal waste.
Mm-hmm.
And the tiles that we did and showed off last week here as well, for the interior parts, do the same thing, but in different ways. So, there are layer shifts, of course, but by keeping it to 2, the waste is kept to a minimum. What would we say for like each piece? Say it's 100 grams. How many grams will we be wasting a filament swap?
We waste with the 2 filament swap.
Yeah.
Without a prime tower, you can get away with maybe less than 2 grams of waste.
2 grams of waste, as opposed to I think when we were looking at doing like 3 or 4 colors, it was more like 30%.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty cool. And I think, like, honestly, we've been experimenting just with the different filaments to use. I still want to use different colors. Obviously, this is what we were working on last week. It kind of looks like X-rated. I don't know if you guys are seeing that in the pattern as well, but, yeah. I love the way that this is coming across. I do think the camera's working a lot better today. Yeah, there we go. The autofocus is better. And you can see there's some style improvements as well over past. And we also had some other experimental parts that we're working on. So, I mean, I think it's inspiring what the community's been doing. Oh yeah, I'll just show off the complexity of this part. Let's see, I still need to figure out how to orient this, but it is a little bit more logical doing things this way too. I'm not trying to mirror or flip things. So this is what I'm working on in Maya. But this, the tube there, that's what is too thin. So let's switch it back over. I think that's the end of our physical stuff that we've got new this week. And also this way, if I switch back, I don't have to look at that screen. I can pay attention to the chat. So, graboids equals monster in the movie Tremors. Oh, right, yes. Thank you, Will Richards. We look forward to märkligare. Oh, märkligare grejer. Yeah, that sounds a little bit Stranger Things. I mean, what happened to that? Didn't the kids all grow up? Overboard says, I'll be upgrading to Friends with Ben in the next month. Awesome, Overboard. We'd love to have you. Just so people know, you can now get annual subscriptions and save about, basically pay for 10 months rather than 12. So it's like 12 months for the price of 10. Kathy says, I enjoy painting terrain. Yes, you do. And you do a wonderful job, Kathy. And I would love if I had half of the talent that you have and half of the time to paint terrain. I think you would agree that painting terrain is very time consuming. And obviously you have to find some really cool techniques. So for us, it's like, we know we do not have the time to focus on this, especially if I'm going to be working on Persephone in the background. Part of the reason we're running this frontier is to make sure we've got enough runway that we can really do the ship justice. I think you'll agree it's coming along very nicely, and I'm going to sleep a hell of a lot better once this bottom layer is finished. And it is sitting on the table next door. It's just a case of I really don't want to show off more until I've got some of these landing gear in. I'm really testing the mechanical functionality of it at the moment. So again, this is the piece that I was working on. So it's just one piece of that, and you'll see that that circle around, I've actually removed and inverted this instead. I'm in the middle of rebuilding all of this geometry, which is a pretty boring job, to be honest. Let's see. So I don't know if this will work out very well, but I'm going to try. So if I do this fill, yeah, I was worried about that. We're going to need to customize this a little bit more just so that Maya figures out where to put things. I'm really hoping this actually is correct because I need to get to this edge out here. Wait, no, this edge. And where is that edge on the inside? That's the question. I didn't intend for this to take as much time as it has. Okay, so there's like one ring there, one ring there. Okay, so at the moment, all of this is ending up in the wrong place. I thought it was an odd angle, so I need to actually... I think we need to rebuild this geometry first, and then we tackle the next section. What's that ring there? Is there actually one? No, it's just overlapping. Okay. Alright. Yeah. Hope everyone's doing well today. Kathy's blushing, but she's very quick. The ship is looking good, thank you. Doug says, I use filament change for test printing some of the terrain for Kathy's next Kickstarter. Get really good just from a single filament change. Pick the base color, then switch over to the top layer too. Yes, indeed. And, you know, I'm very excited about more and more people using GridForge. I don't miss a chance to gush about it every stream. I think it's the best invention that John's done. He's made some really cool stuff, but like as far as the like longest lasting stuff is concerned, GridForge is the future. And just having the freedom that using supported clips instead of open lock clips all over the place. It's still open lock compatible, so don't get me wrong. We'll still be using open lock, especially for areas where we need that extra reinforcement. But in general, I think it's a great solution. And here we go. We're just going to triangulate these and then get rid of this ring, I think. Hoping that's correct. It feels like this will match up now. What if I reverse these? Reverse the polarity.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know. It's technobabble. Right, that's weird that it turned black. Okay, that worked for some reason. Alright, so in theory we should be able to just bridge these. Theory has broken. Oh, this is why. Ooh, what is that nonsense? Okay, hardly perfect. Hardly perfect. Alright, so I think the issue is that we didn't delete all of those. So I think we're still going to end up with some issues here in a few of these areas that don't fully match up, but we can give it a go, see what we can do. If we bridge there. Anyone up to anything interesting this weekend? Let's see. I'm going to try not to work this weekend. I worked my way through last weekend. But sometimes I just don't feel productive at work, which is kind of crazy. I know, but hey, when you've got your own business, you can't really turn it off. We'll have a little holiday soon, won't we, John?
Yeah. We're gonna go to Paris.
We're not going to Paris, we're going to Toulouse.
Paris.
John seems to be confused about the nature of our business relationship.
We're in a relationship.
He's had too much cherry coke today.
Mm.
Let's see if this bridges. Yes, it does. I still have this odd feeling that it's not quite the right angle, but I think we'll try and sort it out later. We do have this gap here that needs a solution. So if we just go from there to there, hit enter. It's really having to think at the moment. I'm half expecting it to crash. But my goal for today would be to reprint this and a part of the whole and hopefully the next section as well. What are you going to lose? There is a My Manufacturing meetup in France that we have been invited to. John is smiling. He's got a big, big smile. The ship is looking good. Thank you, Overboard. It did look so good. Finishing up the Type S is what Overboard's doing. Nice. Oh, yes, you've been sharing the pictures of it. Very nice. Will Richard says, printing my Darthanon Queen. Remind me again which variant that was. What are you going to lose? Oh, right, I've already read that. You know, Nebo played the same trick, actually. It's kind of cheesy. I'm expecting a lot of cheesiness in France, to be honest. And some French people, perhaps. Reasonable expectation for France. I really haven't been there outside of the airport, so it'll be a nice experience to share with you, John.
Hot dog.
Please tell me they've got that extra room. Kathy's making stretch goals. That's important. Goals. Your campaign's going live soon, isn't it? What date is it going live? Or have I missed it? I don't think so. I usually find out. Damn, just skipping over the greatness of my pun. It was very punny. You're going to work on your Helldiver cosplay. Nice, that sounds like a massive job. 10th of June, so very soon. Awesome. That's going to be a lot of fun. Well, you can be guaranteed I'm going to back it again, as I always do. I mean, we've got to support GridForge stuff at this point, don't we? It just seems like it's our duty to do so. And you make awesome work. I'm not happy with how this is working. Why is it not filling in? I'm just going to do okay, fill hole operation not working either. So this is one of the issues when you start getting a complex mesh. This has 140,000 polygons, 146,000 actually. And a part of it is because I've combined a bunch of objects.
No, I'm laughing. You call that high poly.
Maya can't handle very much, John.
I've been doing 10 million polygon models.
You know that when we get... Oh, okay. Yeah, something's going on here. Yeah, I'm going to have to... Yes, don't ask again. So we'll be sitting here talking for the next 10 minutes while I wait for this mesh to smooth. And hopefully we should be able to see where the mesh issues are. Technically, I could cut all of this out and do a much quicker job of things. I hadn't even planned to work on this in front of you guys at all. Oh, what is this nonsense? There's a bunch of hidden geometry.
You know, if you had just sent me the STL, I could have highlighted the mistakes in Blender. Built-in tools for that. Yes.
John made a southern lunch, and since then he's had this accent.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was
Why, I do believe you do. Yeah, you're gonna hate me. I bet you feel as bad as I do when people start trying to put on an Aussie accent. Here's a tip for everyone in the world. Unless you are Australian, don't.
Let us throw
Just
some
don't.
shrimps upon the Barbie.
Oh my god.
Isn't that a great?
No. The worst thing is you know why it's not great. Let's see if we can fill this in now. Yeah, it worked. Let's triangulate. And then we're going to quadrangulate. Which is just getting rid of some of those triangles. You can see here this is an issue. It means that despite these sharing the same vertex, we merge that to center now. Technically, if we pick these and quadrangulate again, no, it didn't disappear. Alright, well, I am not in the mood to wait 5 more minutes until this mesh moves again. I'm going to delete the history too. Some of the shortcomings of Maya, and again, if you're thinking about learning how to 3D model, don't choose Maya. Just don't. Don't do that to yourself. Get Blender. Can you move what back?
The table back?
If you want to. I kind of like being cut off from the rest of the world.
Okay.
No, it's all good. You can move it.
I was gonna reset the place on to clean it.
Don't forget the bins under there.
Yeah.
Oh, what have you done, John?
I didn't do anything.
Things are falling.
That was always falling. There's always been broken plastic on the floor right there.
That's his claim. I guess we can change where these occur as well. I don't love making some of these changes, but like, it's for the greater good.
The greater good.
Yeah, every time I say the greater good, all I can think of is that wonderful movie.
I don't even know what it's from.
It's from Hot Fuzz.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Jeez, it's my favourite film in the Cornetto trilogy. Jeez. Alright, yeah, brilliant film, Simon Pegg and, oh god, what's his name? Yeah, I'm blanking. But, great film series, and, excellent. The greater good, yes.
The greater good.
Hot Fuzz. The fuzz being the British slang term for, or we use it in Australia too, for the police.
We say the fuzz in American English.
Do you?
It's not common, but I've heard it in America.
Are you sure it's not from people watching?
Oh, that might be.
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to deny you there, John. Oh, I just realised we didn't need to drop it that far because this ring was only there as a control object. See, sometimes when you're modelling, it's good to make some geometry that you don't actually need, and it's really just a guide to get in place what you want to. Now, here, there are easier ways of doing this, but since we're on stream, and I've got to create content, no, I'm kidding. For some reason, you guys keep coming back and listening to me windbag all the time, so I think we just move these out. What is going on here? We should just delete that ring. We should delete this ring. And in theory, we should be able to just move these edges away and align them with this new ring. I'm hoping. Anyway, so we'll see. Rightio, so let's start moving them into place. So I want to make sure I don't have my grid snap on here, I just want my vertex snap. And it's just a case of going around in a circle. What are people saying in the chat, John?
I remember hearing fuzz on American TV shows in the 70s to 80s. Brian Rumble.
Imagine if it's actually the other way round. And it's American culture that's influenced the film Hot Fuzz. Because to some degree, like, not trying to get into spoiler territory, but a part of it is comparing, like, police movies from the US to the relatively boring policing in the UK instead, and especially considering the fact that it's set in a tiny little sleepy town that wins Village of the Year every year.
Brian Rumble also asked, Southern lunch? It was pancakes. It was eggs. It was hash browns. It was bacon.
The hash browns were the best.
They were the best part.
And not your McDonald's hash browns. It's more of like grated potato and onion and anything else in there? Egg?
That's it. Grated potato and onion.
There you
go. Derivative content shares. Ben, you generate so much original content. Of course we want to listen to you.
You're just seeing what nonsense I spout this week.
Will Richards shares. About fuzz. It comes from referring to the cops as bears.
As bears? But they were all gay?
That's not what bear means. Never mind.
That's what I think of when I think of bears. Hairy men.
I'm done reading the chat for you.
I am apologizing!
Okay, fine. Original content does not always equate to good content.
No, exactly!
Sim 785. Eric Anderson says hello from Georgia, United States. I miss being able to attend these chat sessions, shares Jimmy Bundick. Will Richards says, Smokey and the Bear movie. Okay.
Ah, okay. But Hot Fuzz? I mean, I feel like we're getting into... I mean, at least we're a good 40 minutes into the stream now, so I don't think... I don't know, YouTube changes its algorithm all the time, but for a while there it wasn't really appreciating speaking about certain topics. Such as bears. In that context. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm really just... need to change the subject.
Yes, you do.
Alright, let's merge this vertex. And hopefully we should be able to fill hole. No, it's not getting better. I think we do have some mesh issues here. And I want to be really careful because I've combined a couple of different meshes and I really don't want vertexes that share the same origins to be merged in places where it's actually two separate objects in the same mesh. Has it been 40 minutes already? Okay, let's just export this. Actually, I can come back to this thing to export it, but the parts, it's actually a multi-part object, and I think that's all of it. So this prints out flat like so. And also includes some of these nice little pipes and control panels. This is a hack job. Obviously, it could use a few improvements too. Like I think I might be able to fix this a bit more if I extrude. I've had some issues with the bridging here, so I'm just gonna grab these really, really quickly, and I'm just gonna pull it up to I think this corner. And yeah, it's not going to be perfect. Let's take it to there. So yeah, it is a long bridge to make. Maybe John has some magic settings I can look at. I keep switching them accidentally. Kathy, you've heard of Hot Fuzz but never watched it? Oh my god, get yourself a cornetto and that is your Friday night. Although you might want to watch Shaun of the Dead first. They're actually completely unrelated, but the same actors. I guess you could watch it out of order. Yeah, but yes, it's highly recommended. Now I'm feeling like the origin point, yeah, it's moved. So this needs to be down there. Just gonna check all of the meshes here are in the same spot. Just looking at it, I don't know how that ended up working out. Because if you're exporting multiple meshes, it's important that this pivot point is the same for all. So let's just export to this, export selection. Yes, we want to go. I like to use Prusa Slicer to fix meshes. A part of it is just sometimes when you're exporting the mesh back again in what's it called?
Orca Slicer.
Orca Slicer. Thank you, John. It instead wants to name it the 3MF instead of the actual object you have selected. It's very frustrating and annoying. So I'm just going to reload this from disk. You can tell it is the replace mesh because we have some geometry here that has the darker shading. This indicates flipped normals, which a operation will fix. And that's also why I have about 2,000 errors in the mesh. Well, there are 39 open edges. Those are real issues that I could, if I could be bothered, fix. But at this point in time, I'd be spending more time hunting down those issues than I would moving on. And when you've got a ship of this size, sometimes NetFab just is acceptable.
Windows repair algorithm.
Windows repair algorithm. Sorry, for legal reasons, we must name it thusly. Or we can open an old version of Prusa Slicer where it's still named that. Even though it would be, yeah. So now that this is finished, I just go export as STL again and I just save over the top of it. And that would, in Orca Slicer, because I prefer to use Orca Slicer as my slicer, especially now since we've more or less retired our Prusas. Sadly, the Mark IV just never lived up. We did get one of the earliest versions, and yeah, it worked well for about until the first update, and then it got horrible, and it's never been the same since, even with John's magic touch. Although I believe he might be actually sabotaging it as well. Since he came, he's convinced me to buy 2 more printers from Bamboo, so... Hey, you used to be blonde. I didn't know. Why is your hair so dark?
It just does whatever it needs to do, sir.
So, this should work better now. I'm just going to test the plate. Wait. Is that preview not working? Seems Persephone, bulkhead forward, port landing gear has floating regions. Really?
Do the preview.
I'm trying.
Top left. Preview.
Oh, now it's letting me slice plate. Yeah. I mean, preview is that, right?
Yeah, preview is if you haven't changed anything.
So I know for a fact that I still need to work on the floor panels. They don't look really great. So this will not be the final version. And oh look, there's actually a floating floor there. That's not good. And I'm wondering if maybe some of those... Really, it's just... No, it's printing on itself. That shouldn't be the issue.
You have several errors in there.
Oh yeah, I know. It needs work. The main thing I'm testing now is the mechanical side of things. I need to make sure that my, atomizer foam insert. And the reason I'm doing it this way is so that I can just say, hey, get these things off Temu or whatever, and you can build it with the pre-made stuff. Because I think this gives you enough water that it can last quite a while. Obviously, we just want it for our preview. Anyway, I'm going to come back to this. It will be... maybe I'll make a few modifications. I'll talk to John after the stream. Actually, this is the older version. Yeah. I must not have refreshed. You can tell here because the pipe is sticking out. So if I just go reload from disk, there we go. Ooh, that doesn't look pretty. It might not matter. It might just be the shading, but it does. Yeah, that looks somewhat better, but still, I need to check that out a little bit because it feels like there's a bit of weird twisting going on. There's a gap in here I need to address. I might need to change the position of some of these parts just a little bit. But the hull itself looks like it's alright. Yeah, I'll come back to this. Because I do want to show something off before the end of the stream. You get floating regions all the time and can't find them. Yeah, I know. It happens as a constant. Actually, the one thing I did want to test and look at is how this overhang is working out. And I kind of feel that will work a bit better. Interesting that there's an overhang there as well. I think it's just like a high angle, that is not actually that much of an issue. But there are some areas here, like I should probably draw down these areas. So I'll look into that in between. Let's save up in here.
Ooh.
What?
Never mind.
You just saw it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easily fixed though.
Yeah.
So I will come back to that in a minute. Now we're just saving the 2 gig file and we're going to switch to, let's see, this one. Because I'm already looking at next month's Tribes release. A part of doing this thing means that we can plan a little bit more. And the next vehicle is going to be a mini Erebus. It's actually an executive yacht. And I had these plans to actually maybe look into Showgirl's suggested modifications because I kind of like them. However, sadly, it is now 10 to 4, so that's not going to happen. So you got some Persephone instead. But hopefully this will load in soon. The reason why it's taken a bit longer than usual is because I think I've left the lighting on. Yeah, I have. Weirdly, the background hasn't loaded. Oh no, it's just really faint. Okay, so let's turn off the camera guides. Let's deselect the background. And take a look-see. So we've got our standard Erebus here. This is a bit bright. Maybe I can lower the brightness a little bit. Let's just go into viewpoint 2.0 there, and we'll drop the light intensity to 2. That should work. It did not work. Maybe it just needed the lighting turned off and on again. I don't know. Anyway. Sometimes you need to move things around for the shadows to calculate correctly, but anyway, I think we'll kill the lighting and just look at that grayscale instead, and let's also turn off the world lighting so it is no longer visible. Why didn't that get included in that? Yeah, that should be in this one. There we go. So, a few things about this. It's not fully finished and printed, or printable yet, but it is a smaller version. It will be a part of Kakaida's station, the executive yacht, and one potential way to get off planet. But there might be some other issues with that. I'm currently working on the interior, and let me remove some of the roof so we can kind of see down below that we have like this faux wooden deck. It kind of says yacht. Planning to have like a thrasher built into the wall there, maybe a bar or something else, and then some seating. I'm not sure. But one thing to note from the cockpit is, whilst it does have a single position, and not quite the same position, I kind of drew some inspiration from the Echo from Alien Romulus, and we have like the starts of some kind of AI sensor there, so it has like an AI pilot in it. That's my current thinking about it. Now, Showgirl did have a rather cool design suggestion. I'm just going to look and see if I can find it real quick on... where would that have been? I don't know if it was work in progress or if it was on... Yeah, let's see. This is going back a ways. Yes. So, we had this, and let me just... Hang on, I'm getting assaulted by atomizers at the moment. Open in browser, and then we'll get this into its own browser so we can have a look at the graphic. So he made this cool thing, which is like this unholy combination of the thrusters from the Erebus and the RCS module. Now, I think we could do one better than this. And I'm going to select this, and then hopefully I can no, I can't deselect that for some reason. Let's try and isolate this. So this is the base form. The issue here is that the chassis does not have its own engines built in. They're on these separate things. So having an option for Shergill's solution. Thanks, Shergill. Sorry, I managed to find it, obviously. And no dig against a really cool remesh of that, but I think I can do better having access to the original files. And hidden inside here is also, let's see, I did change my camera angle here to 85 millimeters. It does give you a bit more of a, let's see, maybe, are they missing because it's on the, let's see, it might be hidden on a stretch goal layer. Yes, it is. I'm just trying to show what it looks like with the RCS, and then we can look and see what it looks like. Oh no. So we want that first. I'm going to put our stretch goals on, they're on. And hidden inside the motors. Come on. That should be one. And no, it's not. Oh man. Is this just hidden again? Yes, it was. Pain in the butt. Keeping my shift on. Oh, they're actually popping out the back. Man, that could have saved me some time. Let's turn this off. So this is what it would look like with the RCS pack. Which is, you know, not that uncool. But what we could do also is like grab this, just duplicate this, combine it, make sure it's in a separate group. It looks like it is. We're going to remove these items because we don't want them showing up. Not worried about the time here, it's okay if we go a few minutes over. And we just want to go to show, isolate, select, and actually remove selected objects. So we get this back. So obviously this is too large. Also, there's a few issues here. It's incomplete. We probably want to get closer to Shergill's look, I think. And a part of this, I'm not sure if this is a separate object, I doubt it. It's integrated. But we could, like, for example, take off the directional pads here. And I would drop this down to maybe 0.75. Oops. 0.75, let's try that again. So it would be cool to like rebuild this, but as its own module. So this probably needs to come down even smaller and then back a bit. It's weird, John stopped typing and now I'm nervous.
I'm
mesmerized, yes.
That's a word.
By the way, I'm only concepting this at the moment just because I thought it was a cool design. Obviously, we're not going to use all of these parts as is. And I would want to restore that RCS as well so that you're not missing out on those additional thrusters. But you know, that kind of looks cool. So I'm kind of thinking like, maybe I go ahead as planned with this thing and then do like the Shergill special as the vehicle variant, essentially.
Hidden inside the motors.
You did about 50%. Yeah, but these are already reduced 75%. So that's how I got to that 75% again. So Right now they're about half the size of the Erebus motors there. You can see the size difference is quite considerable. Not entirely sure we're going to go with the 4-thruster arrangement either. Like I said, I think if we're going to make an official version of the one you have suggested, I think we're going to modify it so that those extra RCS thrusters still work. We'll see. In any case, so yeah, I like where this is going. I think it's a cool little craft. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, that sort of thing. Is that, yeah, John's making the hand gestures. I kind of like the look of this thing. It looks meaner. Some people have said, oh, this is just your version of the Kotal, which is kind of funny to think about. But in a way it is, but no, it is its own thing. And I kind of I'm really liking some of the shapes on this. It almost has a slightly more Star Wars-y feel to it, I feel. Maybe not the engines, but yeah.
The Kotal
is the interior grid forge. The interior of this one is not going to be grid forge, mostly because it's based on there's just not enough tolerance between the floor and grid. Like, you could maybe get these 6 tiles, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They could be customized, but even they kind of slightly fit under the wall. And yeah, I'm just not sure how well it would work out.
The Kotal is smaller and has 3x3.
Yes. This has the same interior space as a Kotal.
Oh.
But there's a lot more beef around it. Your Kotal must be much more advanced technology. No, that's surely what's happening.
No, it just goes really slow.
William Lucas says, I want it now! Me too. I can't wait to test print this and check it out, both with the big engines and with the Shergall engines. I think we might even call them Shergall engines as, a way to honor one of our biggest MVPs in our community, and it deserves a pat on the back also for all the moderation that's going on in the Discord as well. Alrighty, so I guess that's it for us this week. It is 4:02 Friday afternoon. I hope everyone can enjoy a nice cold one if you're into that, or have a nice relaxing coffee or whatever it is you're into, a relaxing beverage on a Friday night. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will be back next Friday with yet another stream, episode 23 for 2025. All right, guys, take care. Bye. Bye. Actually, this works better if I find the off button.